There is nothing more frustrating than putting all this work into your diet, into your workouts, and in 12 weeks, you notice no changes. Now, let's be honest. Most of us quit diet and workout programs less than 30 days in, and we don't really even give it. Now, let's be honest. Most of us quit diet and workout programs less than 30 days in, and we don't really give it enough time or patience to start working for us or to figure out what's working and what's not working. But in this video, I'm going to go over 4 of the biggest hidden mistakes that you're making that are causing you to not see progress with your fat loss. And before we get into it, my name is Jeff. If you're new here, I'm an online strength and nutrition coach, and I want to help you lose fat and build muscle in the most sustainable and non-bullshitty way possible, because there's a lot of bullshit out there on the internet. So let's just cut straight to the chase. Number 1, this is a concept I just learned about, but it makes a ton of sense. It's called vanishing caloric density. Have you ever had these kind of like these like big bags of popcorn? And when you eat a handful of them, even though they're only 43 calories per cup, you feel like you cannot stop shoveling this popcorn into your mouth. Especially like the white cheddar and like super delicious processed, like highly palatable flavors like that. It's just hard to stop eating. And if you look on the back of the bag, you can see that a bag of this popcorn is like over 1,000 calories, like the big bag I'm talking about. I personally could easily eat over 1,500 calories of this popcorn, and I have a feeling I would feel absolutely not satiated or full at all, even though I just ate like 2 huge meals. Even though I just ate like 2 huge meals worth of calories. You don't actually feel full from eating these kinds of snacks, and I would argue that they actually increase your appetite, which is really strange. But it's too much processed snacks and garbage like this that are keeping people from losing weight, because they don't realize how many calories they're actually eating when they're just shoveling in handfuls of processed snacks. It's almost like the food just dissolves in your mouth, and it doesn't actually create any form of satiety. Now, when you eat something like a chicken breast, you're going to feel full because it kind of just sits in your stomach. It does not dissolve. It kind of just sits in your stomach and it helps you feel full. This is why protein and fiber are so important when you're in a calorie deficit. Hidden mistake number 2, licks, bites, and tastes. Even though you may be conscious of trying to eat healthy and eating more healthy foods, fruits, vegetables, protein, like you may be doing all those things already, the problem is not the main meals. The problem is all the little snacks and nibbles and licks and bites and tastes. When you have little nibbles of food, you don't track them because you think, oh, this is not going to make a difference. This little bit of ketchup here, this little bit of ranch dressing here, these 2 little spoonfuls of peanut butter. One time I had this fat loss client that I was working with online, and when I looked at her logs, she was logging like 13 to 1,500 calories, and in theory, she should have been losing weight. And I asked her, is there anything that maybe you're having that you're forgetting to log? And she's like, well, let me think about it. Sometimes I go by the refrigerator and I have like a shot of whipped cream. And I'm like, are we talking full fat whipped cream? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, how many times are you doing that per day? And she's like, maybe 3 or 4. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So when we looked at the calories behind that, we figured out she was probably eating about, honestly, 300 to 500 extra calories per day, which is super easy to do with something like whipped cream, right? Because it's like air. Talk about vanishing caloric density. Like whipped cream is literally air and cream, and it vanishes in your mouth after you eat it. Just remember that a couple spoonfuls of peanut butter is the difference between you losing fat or eating at maintenance calories every single day. Mistake number 3, you're trying to out-train a bad diet. Now, what do I mean by this? A lot of us, when we want to lose weight, we go straight to the gym. We're like, I got to get back in the gym. I got to get back to doing these workouts. I got to start running. I got to do all this cardio. And we get back in the gym and we don't really change our eating habits. Or maybe we like add in a salad. We're like, I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to eat a salad. But the problem is, it's like, unless you're tracking that food, you have no idea how many calories you're actually eating. And when you go and do a workout in the gym, or you do like a cardio class or something like that, you're not actually burning as many calories as you think you are. And if you're using your fitness tracker like an Apple Watch or something like that, I promise you, you're burning way less calories than it says. These things are like very inaccurate with how many calories they say they burn. Ultimately, your diet is what's going to help you lose fat. Now, you can do workouts, and I think that's great. I think we should all be in the gym. We should all be strength training. We should all be doing our cardio. We should be getting in more steps per day. But ultimately, what you put in your mouth is going to make up your results. Now, there is one caveat, and I'm going to talk about it because it's number 4. And that's called body recomp or body recomposition. And basically, this is the theory that when you're in a calorie deficit and you're new or you've taken a long break from strength training, your body can actually lose fat and build muscle at the same time. So this is why people who only focus on the scale get super frustrated with their progress, especially if they're strength training, which they should be, you should be. It's because when you lose a pound of fat, but you gain a pound of muscle, the scale is going to have a net zero change. It's going to say you weigh exactly the same. But over time, you will notice there are changes happening to your body. And this is actually arguably better than just losing fat or just building muscle, because this means your body is in like a prime state to really soak up those gains in the gym and really build muscle and change the shape of your body and change your metabolism, which ultimately is going to lead to the body that you want anyways. If the scale doesn't say the number that you want it to say, but when you look in the mirror, you look the way that you want to look, who cares, right? Like, who really cares? Like, what's the difference between some arbitrary number that you made up on the scale versus how you actually look? So one thing that you can do is take progress photos, but the next thing that you can do is take waist measurement every single week while you're on your calorie deficit, because this is what's going to tell you whether you're losing fat or not. If you're losing centimeters, and I use centimeters instead of inches here, if you're losing centimeters, you are losing fat around your waist, okay? So those are the 4 hidden truths, the 4 hidden mistakes that most people are making on their fat loss journey. Hopefully these helped you out. If they did, you can apply for one-on-one coaching. Shoot me an email. I'll leave it down below in the description and we can chat a bit more. All right? See you guys in the next video. Peace.